You're listening to Happy Voicing. I'm joined with a very special guest today, someone who you might recognize and love their work. Whether it's from Tales of Planet Symma or Deadly Night, here's Lizzy Rose Oliver.
So I've got a very special guest, someone that has been working in the entire voiceover space for a while, and you've heard her on Inanimate Insanity. This is absolutely amazing opportunity. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry, I'm still setting up my light here because
You're
I realized I
fine.
look very bright. While I'm doing that, I am Jazzy Oliver. This thing is killing me, I swear.
Mhm.
I am the voice of Paintbrush and Silver Spoon over on Inanimate Insanity. I have also voiced in numerous other indie productions, mainly games, visual novels, and more recently, anime dubbing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
So to begin, what does being a voice actor mean to you?
It means to me being able to give a voice to characters that would otherwise not have one. Like
Yeah,
if you're making a live action work, um, most characters are going to have like the actor's voice by default. They're going to be like the actor is going to play that character. But voice acting is a field where like a person can draw the character, a person that can animate the character, but without the voice actor, you don't have a voice.
right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you started your voice acting journey, what was your experience in assimilating or joining the voice acting community?
It was so I had started voice acting professionally around 2020,
Yeah,
like late 2020, right as the like during like as the pandemic was still going on.
yeah,
And it was kind of interesting because that was a point where a lot of voice actors were there was definitely this big sense of community, especially since a lot of folks who did not live in major cities where you could do like a lot of studios did their work, such as
yeah,
like Dallas or LA. Folks who lived away from those cities could now find that opportunity. So there was definitely a huge sense of community at that time, and I think that's largely continued into now.
yeah. Absolutely. That's really cool.
Mhm.
Have you picked up on any advice that truly resonated with you throughout your journey?
One of my voice acting teachers was Aaron Fitzgerald, who folks will know for voicing Chie in the original, not the original Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, as
Yeah,
well as Junko Enoshima and Genocide Jack and Danganronpa. She was a huge influence in how I perform, largely in helping to. She had a lot of advice that helped me to move my experience on stage
yeah,
into the recording booth, especially in regards to building characters and how, despite the fact that I'm working with a smaller space, a lot of what you learn in stage acting classes
yeah,
can easily translate into the voice acting world.
yeah, absolutely. And did you go to school for acting, or did you go to school and you had like the experience of acting throughout it? Uh,
Uh,
or what was your
I
background for that?
At first, I attended school at Santa Fe University of Art and Design, but it
Mhm.
had shut down during my time there, leaving me with pretty useless credits,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
right.
So I decided to make, in order to not have to start over again, I decided to take a 6 month intensive at School Creative in Vancouver, Canada.
Ooh, okay. How was that experience for you?
It was a lot of fun. School Creative works with actors that are like the teachers are actors who are also currently working
Yeah,
in the industry. So not only did I get education in terms of acting and craft and all that, I also got an idea for how the business is in as updated a sense as I could at that time.
yeah, absolutely. Really cool. So now hitting a very like scary topic that comes with the concept of voice acting. With AI becoming more rampant in many companies attempting to convert to AI practices, which in turn steals human workers. What are some strategies that you practice to make sure that you deliver and associate with real human voices?
The thing about AI is, so as a public figure, I have had the unfortunate experience of hearing an AI of my voice. And
Oh,
the thing I noticed almost immediately is it sounds sleepy. It sounds
yeah,
like how I do if I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. So
right.
my strategy to combat that at the end of the day is I'm a very energetic performer. So I
Yeah,
keep up that energy. I keep up this kind of spirited, like get up and go energy that I and I think just capturing the human spirit in general is something that AI fails to replicate. It can sound like a person, but it can't capture that person's energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I think AI is at a place where like it's scary to see like how like popular it is, especially with like younger people
Mhm.
making like AI like song covers and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
Uh it's so weird, and I always like don't like it whenever I hear it, but like it's always something where it's like I was talking with some other voice actors where like a lot of them had the consensus of like it doesn't have like the human passion.
No, it doesn't. Like I said, among the AI stuff I've heard of my voice is
Mhm.
includes song covers. And the funniest thing I've noticed is I'm kind of in a unique position when it comes to that. Usually
Mhm.
they're using AI voices of a specific character of specific characters I've voiced in Inanimate Insanity. And a
Yeah.
lot of the things is those sites tend to sample not only my voice but the voices of previous actors. So it sounds like this weird
Mm.
amalgamation that doesn't really sound like anyone.
Yeah, right, right, absolutely. Okay. In your opinion, how can young people seeking entry into the business compete with both AI and senior talent?
I think, well, in regards to AI, the best we can do is just continue to speak out against it. Like one
Yeah.
thing a lot of voice actors do is when stuff like, recently you had the game Arc Raiders, which sold itself on having a completely AI voice talent. A
Mm.
lot of the voice actors, both like veteran and newbie talent, we were all pretty much in agreement and pretty much loudly speaking out about how this was not an okay practice, that this sets a harmful precedent.
Yeah.
So I think in regards to competing with that, just being vocal is one of the best things you can do. In regards to competing with senior talent, that's a bit trickier because it's hard for me to see voice acting with people as competition, even though I know in my heart that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because you're ultimately when you're auditioning, we'll be generous and say 100 plus people going for one role, only one person's gonna get it.
Yeah.
But it's also important to not only to not strictly see other voice actors as competition, but also see them as your peers and folks you can work with. This is a community at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
I understand the reality is that not there are people in this industry that don't see it that way and are in it for themselves. And that's unfortunate. But I'd say the best you can do is just connecting with folks who do understand the beauty of the community aspect of this career.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like a lot of conversations that I've had before has like the concept of like that voice acting as like a premise is like a marathon, and like it's
Mhm.
something that you like continuously you go through, and like it's it's hard not to look at it as competition, but like the healthier outs aspect and the outlook of it is really looking at it as a way to network in a way that you can just like pursue your craft and just be passionate about what you want to do.
A- Absolutely, and there's connections to be made with this career. I don't think that should be your like only like goal with meeting people. I'd say just meet people to be their friends.
Yeah.
One story that I've told before is that back when I started, I did get on a few rosters for Crunchyroll, and I
Oh
got an
wow.
audition for an anime series. I think it was a BL series. It was Sasaki Emiano. I got to
Yeah.
audition for that, and
Oh wow.
I didn't get it, but the person who went for the part that I was really like, oh, I want to get this part was an actor named Joshua Waters, and we had become friends like sometime after that,
Yeah.
and about a year later, I ended up helping in casting for an Animate Insanity, and we cast them into a role, and they've been on the
Ah,
series ever since.
that's
So
so amazing. That's so amazing. I love that. I love
yeah,
Josh. Their work is absolutely amazing,
oh,
and
absolutely.
they're fantastic.
Mhm.
What preparation do you see as most helpful for the field? So this can either be like vocal exercises for you, or like getting into the headspace of like an audition, or getting to the headspace of like cold calling, or just like overall just putting yourself in the mindset.
Vocal exercises are definitely great, just being able to stretch your voice and vocal cords going in
Yeah.
there, especially if you're playing a very vocally intensive character.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going in and I know the character uses my normal voice, then usually I do pretty light vocal exercises. But if it's something like I'm gonna use like the most intensive character I can think of I've played,
Mhm.
say for some reason I had to reprise the character Mr. Shiny from Deadly Night. That's a very
Yeah.
vocally loud, bombastic character. That's a character I'd have to like really really like exercise to get, because I know I'm gonna be screaming. I know it's gonna be rough, and I know if I don't exercise, I'm gonna feel it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, also definitely getting into that headspace, like getting in, like reading the script and understanding like all the context of where the character is and what they're doing in, say, an episode or a game or whatever it is you're reading for that day.
Yeah, absolutely. Has there been a role for you that has been rewarding to you?
I'd say a lot of roles were pretty rewarding to me, but
Mm,
if I had to pick one, I definitely it's probably the easy bandwagon anyone would pick this if talking about my voice roles, but definitely
mm,
got to go with Paintbrush and Inanimate Insanity. There
yeah,
was a certain I like, for some context, I hadn't done much voice work prior to II that people had recognized me for per se.
yeah,
Like I worked, I had a career, but people didn't really know my name. And then I get into this series and suddenly everyone knows my name in one way or another. But
yeah,
I think what made it important to me was the number of people that I've had. There have been a number of young trans and non-binary viewers of the show who we're just happy to have not only this character who's very openly non-binary, but also having an actress who is also NB voicing the character, and how much
yeah,
that means to them. So I found that to be the most rewarding thing about voicing that character.
yeah. It's so beautiful having like characters that like people can really like look over at and just like really identify with. I know for me personally, as an African American, this is a far back thing, but for Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, whenever they
Ah,
introduced the character Axel Brody,
yes.
I looked over and I went like, I'm not sure if whether or not he's played by an African American. I think he is now, but I don't know if he
Mm.
started off. But seeing that character, even though there was a lot of like stereotypes about it, it was something where like it was a big show for me growing up. So I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah, like especially nowadays, I think it's because back when I was growing up, just speaking as a trans person, we didn't really have many, if any, trans characters like
Yeah,
in pop culture. Like I struggle to think of one. Like I think the first trans character I ever came across that was, and I hate to say it, was probably Erica from the game Catherine, which wasn't the best representation,
right,
unfortunately. Like,
right. That's very true.
mm.
Is there any work, roles, or classes that you would like to share for any aspiring voice actors?
Definitely, if you are a queer person looking for to get started in the field, one group that has plenty of resources that I'd highly recommend is QueerVox. They have not
Mm,
only resources for helping you get started, they have lessons that are pretty affordable and are usually most of the time pay what you can, if anything. So,
yeah, that's
um,
great.
but yeah, they're definitely great.
Okay. And just as a final question that we have for this interview, something that I personally love doing, if there was a bit of advice that you would give to a younger you from all the experience that you've garnered up to this point, especially within voice acting, what would you say to them?
Get off of social media.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
like I've given this advice in my own like voice acting panels, and only recently have I followed it. So if anyone
Yeah,
ever saw my voice acting panels, I'm just going to give a very do as I say, not as I do type of thing,
right,
because only now am I following that advice to kind of lighten social media usage, because
right.
it's miserable. Like I don't like, if there was one thing I could change about my entire career, it's just not use social media as much as I did. So
Yeah, I get that. Well, that's it's honestly a very healthy thing to distance yourself from social media because it's
mhm.
it's 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 becoming less social and it's becoming way more toxic.
Yeah, no, like I had just found out that apparently there's a lot of vocal dislike for me on Twitter, and it's like, oh, glad I got off that site then.
Wow, golly. Wow. But thank you so much for providing your voice and allowing aspiring voice actors and voice acting enthusiasts to hear all things about voice acting. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Happy Voicing. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember, whether you're starting out or experienced, break a leg and happy voicing.